Hello friends, thanks for joining me for this video. This is all about strengthening those legs. We're working on the hamstrings in this video, those big muscles on the back of the legs between the knees and the hips, and we're continuing to work on strengthening the lower body so that we can improve our stability to help us be able to do what we love with the people we love for as long as possible. That's our goal. So this video is all about the hamstrings. This is called the deadlift, and if you need to grab a chair and then come on back and we'll get started. Okay, so we're working on these big hamstring muscles back behind the thighs, just above the knees. So we're doing today what we call a deadlift, and this is another exercise in this series of leg strengthening exercises so that we can help make ourselves more stable, right? So that's our end goal in this. So we're going to do what we call a deadlift. We've done a few other exercises. We've done the brush and we've done the target practice. Sometimes goofy names help me remember these things, but this is called the deadlift. And if you've done any kind of physical therapy for your lower limbs, there's a good chance you've done this or some kind of a version of it. Okay, so it might look familiar to you. So we're going to stand. I like to stand behind a chair just in case I need to grab a hold of it. All right, we're going to start on 2 feet. I'm showing you from the side. So you can have the side angle and see what I'm doing here. So I'm standing on 2 feet. My feet are about hip width apart, and I'm going to stand up nice and tall. Remember that posture we've talked about before. So we stand up nice and tall, and it's pretty simple. We hinge at the hips, we hinge forward, we'll drop our arms down toward the ground, and we look directly at the ground. And then we lift ourselves back up. Good. Now I'm trying to keep my spine somewhat straight, and my knees have a little bend in them. They're not fully bent, but they're not locked out. We definitely don't want to lock them out. All right, so here we go. Let's try this again. We hinge forward, dropping the hands down, looking at the ground, and then we lift back up. Okay, so a couple tips here. Let's do this one again. Let's pretend like we're holding maybe like a small beach ball or something small, a small ball in our hand. So we're going to keep that between our hands as we lower down. We're looking at the ground. Now as I come up, I like to think about pressing my feet into the ground and really using that to help lift my upper body up. Okay, and I'm really engaging through the back of these legs here. All right, let's try it again. Here we go. We're going to go down, and then we press into the ground, really strengthening through those legs to come up. Good. So what I'm trying not to do is to do this roll up, okay, which we do sometimes when we're doing other types of exercises, and especially like in a yoga class or something, we might do that. But for now, we're going down, we're hinging at the hips, and then we're lifting back up, really engaging through the back of those legs to get ourselves back up. So that's the basic version. I would do, if you're starting with that one, I would do 8 to 10, just like we normally do. And depending on how you're feeling, you might want to do, maybe 2 sets of those. So let's talk about how to make this more challenging. That's the basic movement. We go down, and then we come back up. Okay, and as usual, I like to take a little break after 4 or 5, take a little breather, and then do 4 or 5 more. Okay, so let's talk about how to make this. If you feel like you need something a little more challenging, if you're feeling pretty good about that, you might want to start with this one for a couple weeks and then bump it up a little bit. So let's talk about a few options. One would be to take, if you have little hand weights, you could use a hand weight between your hands, and you lower down, just holding the weight, and then lifting back up. Good. And another option would be, what if you don't have a hand weight? Well, most of us have maybe canned beans or canned vegetables or canned something in the house that we could hold on to, and we could hold it between our hands, and we lower down, and then we lift back up. Okay, so holding something that has a little bit of weight to it will make this more challenging. You could just take, if you have I don't know, like maybe a grandkid's little bouncy ball or something, you could squeeze that between your arms. That would engage through the upper arms, through the upper body, and then we would lift back up. Okay, so that's one option. Another option is we're going to do this on one leg. This will make it significantly more challenging. So make sure you have the double leg one down first, And then we're going to try this on one leg. So here's what this one looks like. And this is where I would have your chair handy in case you need to grab onto it. You can always hold on to one hand and maybe take one arm down if you'd like to, or if you feel like you need to, go ahead and hold on to it with two hands. Okay? All right, so on one leg, we're going to lift one leg up behind us, keep the toes pointed down toward the ground, and then we're going to hinge forward on this one leg. Ooh, this gets a little more challenging here. Okay, we hinge forward, and then we lift back up. Okay, it's the same motion, it's just on one leg. Let me scoot forward just a little bit here. All right, so we lift the leg up, and then we hinge forward. So try this with me, just to see how you're doing with it, to see if you get it, if your body kind of gets what we're supposed to do here. Good, and then, again, we can add the arms. We can add one or two arms. So we can take one arm straight down toward the ground, looking down at the ground, and then back up. You'll definitely feel this in that supporting leg. All right, or you can take two arms down. Okay, we're trying to keep the back straight again, and we're hinging at the hip. Okay, good. Shake that leg out. You might not be able to do as many on one leg because it's significantly more challenging on one leg. Okay, so then we'll try it on the other leg. So we stand on one leg. Remember, we're going to keep a little bend in this knee. We don't want to lock it out, but we don't want to, fully bend it. We're going to keep a little bend in it. And we're going to hinge forward. This one is harder to balance. And then we come back up. Good, and we hinge forward. And again here, if you need something more, you can hold on to a weight. You can hold on to a hand weight. You could hold on to a can of beans or something. Good, and we hinge down. And we come back up. Good, shake that leg out, shake that supporting leg out. Okay, so that's the basic movement. That's what we call a deadlift. And my background is in dance, so we call it something totally else, totally different in the dance world, but deadlift is much easier to remember. So we're going to call this one a deadlift. So again, try it on two legs first. Start with two legs. Go down, do 4 or 5, take a break, do 4 or 5 more, and then progress. As you progress, don't rush it, but as you progress, you'll be able to go to one leg and you hinge down and then you come back up. You don't have to go down very far either. Don't feel like you have to go down so you're parallel to the ground. We're just really going down far enough to engage through this leg, the supporting leg, down through the hamstring. Good. And you'll also feel it in your glute and your hip area as well. So. All right, that is our exercise for today, the deadlift. If you haven't checked it out, we do have a stretching series you can check out. So check that out if you need some kind of stretches to know how to stretch the backs of your legs and your whole body. And other than that, we're going to sign off for today. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.